Imagine if a kid committed a crime against you. Would you be willing to sit down with them face to face if that conversation meant keeping them out of prison? This is the idea of Cliff Nellis, a lawyer operating a free legal firm in one of the most violent neighborhoods in Chicago.
You've got 1,500 juveniles every year getting arrested in a small neighborhood like North Lawndale. Crime, it is not something that we can arrest our way out of.
Today, these women will meet with their father's attacker for the first time.
He gave me a second chance, and I didn't even give myself a chance.
If this model works, it could have radical implications for America's 60,000 juveniles in prison and transform the justice system as we know it.
This is Stand Together Presents stories, ideas, and advice from changemakers tackling our biggest challenges.
What's broken with the criminal justice system and how it relates to youth is that it's not equipped to see youth as youth. It is laws and punishments. That's it. What are we doing to make the community better or stronger as a result of what happened? The answer is nothing.
So 9 times out of 10, that's a shot victim. That's a gun shooting victim. My closest friends that I consider more like brothers, they're no longer here. This is my high school home field, where I played 3 years of high school football. I broke my leg. I broke my tibia and my fibia, and it broke my heart.
With his hope of being a professional athlete shattered, Ed joined a gang.
After, football was over, the streets was it. Leading a gang made me feel like a man again.
10 years ago, when Ed had just gotten out of high school, he and his gang robbed and beat up a delivery man named Guillermo.
This area for me represents when my life completely turned upside down. I remember being on the ground, like on top of him, holding his hand. I just got terrified. Like I just heard screaming and yelling, and I just took off running. As I'm in my jail cell, I'm thinking about who this guy even was. Does he have a family? Did he die? Is he okay?
Mira, papi, con el calendario allá atrás.
Oh, yeah. My father never talked about being mugged or jumped because he didn't want us to be concerned. He didn't want us to be scared for him. He didn't want us to persuade him to leave the area.
Instead of Ed going to prison, something strange happened. Cliff, who was Ed's lawyer at the time, asked Guillermo to sit down with Ed in a restorative justice circle.
What happens in a restorative justice healing circle is people who have been harmed and who did the harm come together and sit in a circle. It creates a space for everybody to be vulnerable, open, to experience healing, forgiveness, accountability.
The first thing that I remember saying to Guillermo was, "I'm sorry." And when I said I'm sorry, he started tearing up. This man saw grace and mercy at me and took my sorry. And his next response was, "Are you okay? Mijo, are you okay? How are you?" And I put my head down and I just busted in tears.
As part of the restorative justice process, Ed volunteered at Guillermo's restaurant, and he and Ed became friends. They were friends up until Guillermo passed away in 2019.
I was proud of my dad. It's very difficult when you're a victim to try to find peace and to try to forgive them. He was a very giving, generous man.
Hey, how are you?
This is Sylvia and
Nice to
Carolina.
meet you.
How are you?
I'm good.
Cliff would say, "Guillermo asks how you're doing." And I'm like, what the heck? Like, why is he even caring about me? And like, it's crazy. I'm sorry, I'm trying to cry. And it brought me to a place where I never knew existed.
Real transformation takes place in a healing circle because you have a greater understanding of what happened and a greater human connection to the people impacted by it. And through that, both the victim is restored and healed, the defendant takes a more meaningful personal level of accountability, and the community comes together to support that process.
If I had enough money to build a statue for your dad, I would. Because he changed my life, and everything that he's done and impacted me has impacted the people around me and has changed my outlook on life.
If there was anything he shared with me, it was out of this, he wanted to see you succeed.
Today, Ed has built a life for himself. He has a thriving business, and he's forever grateful to Guillermo.
What I'm hoping comes out of this is that more people are going to be open to participate in a program like this, to give others a second chance, because I think we all make mistakes, and I think everybody deserves a second chance.
Cliff's law firm helps over 300 juveniles and young adults each year. 89% of them have not returned to crime.
I think if we took this model to scale nationally, we would reduce incarceration by at least 50%, if not more.
Cliff's program has spread to 5 other neighboring communities. It's changing the way Chicago treats prosecuting juveniles.
We believe that every human being has value, and that although young people make mistakes, particularly in their formative years, that they still have hope in a future and great potential.
I will always be a better version of me because of Guillermo, the Restorative Justice, my family, and, having Cliff in the legal center, be behind me. It saved my life.